We got her! Look who we have on the channel! Oh my gosh. I'm so pumped. Chat's going crazy. They're excited to see you. How are you doing? How are you?
I'm okay. I'm as okay as anyone can be, you know.
Thanks so much for wanting to be on here. I'm really excited about it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I was really pumped when you followed up after Among Us.
Yeah.
And invited me to do this. I think that this is a lot of fun.
I was like, I think I was just super motivated because I've done these the +1 interviews on my channel before, but it hasn't been for a hot second, and I just got really busy. And then I think just that motivated me, and I was like, you know who would love to come on for like the reboot of it? I'm sure Rihanna would. And you did.
You're right.
Yay.
I am here. I am happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You got a cat. You got a cat next to you.
I do. This is Smellyham. This is his butt.
So wait, is that his actual full name? Like his actual name is Smellyham?
Yeah, that's what I named him. We
do you
rescued him.
Call him Smelly for short, or is it
no,
just?
I call him Mel.
Mel. Okay, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So you rescued him.
Yeah, rescued him almost 2 years ago now on Halloween. He was 15. Yeah, he was a big stinker too. He was really smelly. But he just, I don't know, I just connected with this cat immediately. And so now I just have this old thing living in my...
So, did you, like, find him out and about, like, on Halloween night, or what happened?
No, Halloween historically has not been my favorite night. And I was kind of tired of it being something that I dreaded every year. And so at the time I turned to my roommate and I said, we should just take the day back and do something that would make it really worth celebrating. Aww. And so we had already for months been talking about getting a cat, and they were having a sale on senior cats at the Denver Dumb Friends League, which is the local rescue center.
Yeah.
And so we went over, and there he was, just being sneaky.
I love it. And I mean, I'm sure you know, like, black cats are especially, like, you go to a shelter, you see a lot of black cats, because people have against them, you know, the superstition thing, and it's like, no, it's a cat. Like, it just wants love. So that's great. I love that. You took it back. Guess what, guys? I'm having a black cat on Halloween. Screw you all. So that's cool.
It's just how it worked out. He just happened to be the cat that I connected the most with.
Aww.
Because I don't know, I saw him, and if you have a lot of experience with black cats, you don't really see them in dark rooms until, like, they definitely see you first.
Yeah.
And that was super fucking freaky. And I look over and it's just like this ball and two eyes, and he was terrifying. And he actually had a very feminine energy. He still does.
Aww.
And I thought he was a lady at first. But I walk over and I already knew I wanted a cat that I could harass often. And so I picked him up and I held him like a baby, and he just started purring.
Aww.
And then I bought him for $10.
Love it.
Well,
that's the greatest thing too about buying, like, about adopting an older cat, is that, like, they're already their cat, like, they're already what they're gonna be. You know, when you get a kitten, you have no idea what this kitten's gonna turn into. You don't know if they're gonna be affectionate, if you don't know if they're gonna be wild. So that's cool. And guess what? Cats live a long time, so he's gonna have a long, wonderful life with you. So.
Oh, he's never dying.
Yay!
I've already told him.
Please, you cannot die on me. That's awesome. That's great. Well, cool. Well, as you probably saw on, like, literally every single social media that I had, I was like, hey guys, I need your questions for Rihanna. I'm sure you're just, like, reading through all these and you're like, okay, cool. So I've compiled a list that I've shared with you. So we're just gonna go down this list and get into the nitty gritty of it. I put them, just for the stream so you guys know, I put them into, like, different little categories. So we had a lot of Life is Strange questions, and then we had some other acting related questions, and then some personal questions. So we're gonna start with the Life is Strange ones, just to jump in there. Yes.
Classic. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you're like, okay, let's go. And for the people who are watching in the stream, I tried to pick questions that I knew maybe haven't been asked a ton of times, because there's always that same question, you know, like, okay, well, like, Amber Price or, you know, whatever, right? And it's like, okay, that one's been asked so many times, you know, so let's try and find questions that you haven't been asked before. So that's what we did. Okay, cool. So this one is from Sylvie from, I think, Instagram. So, what was your favorite thing you thought after seeing your character? What was the first thing you thought after seeing your character and hearing your voice in the video game? Which I know you didn't. Which I know you didn't play the game. Have you? You've played it since now. It's been.
I have.
Okay.
Yes.
But it took you like 2.5 years.
I mean, I played the first. When it was in development before release, they let me play the first playable, so that I could at least see what my work was doing, and also so I could see for myself what body movements were and weren't working. But my first thought was absolutely, what the fuck?
Like, what the fuck in the sense of what, like, that's my voice, or like just disbelief?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like it's my voice. It's not my face. It's my walk. It's not my butt. Like it was. It's incredibly. It's super surreal.
Yeah.
To have all of your choices and your movements and your mannerisms placed onto something that looks nothing like you.
So that was your biggest thing. That was your biggest thing, just kind of having this like disassociation with it all.
It was super cool. Don't get me wrong. But it was really, really off-putting's the wrong way to put it, because it wasn't off-putting. It was just,
it was different.
Surprising.
Well, it's surprising. It's like how Amanda Bynes like had. I mean, she literally went into a huge thing because of seeing herself as a man, and she's the man. Like, she had a huge issue with it. She was not comfortable with it. She didn't understand that was going to happen to herself when she saw that. So, I mean, obviously similar and not similar, you know, but I can get what you mean. Like, okay, that's not me, but it is me, but being confused by it. So, yeah, I get that.
I wouldn't go so far as like the Amanda Bynes comparison, but I would absolutely say that it was jarring, I think is the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
But of course, you know, you get this as an actor, you kind of you have to get over it yourself. And so like I played the rest of that playable.
Yeah.
And it's just ultimately really cool.
Right? Right? Yeah, for me it's like people are always like, well, do you like it? Is it weird to hear your voice? And I'm like, nah, man, it's cool. Like I'm like, that's me. That's cool. Like, that's awesome. I don't know. It's just a fun thing. But definitely, you know, as time goes on, you're like, man, it's so surreal that happened. So it's like still that that same feeling. All right. So Clay Freeman asks, how long was the recording process? How did you find the job, or did the studio find you? So two kind of questions mixed into that. So start off how you would like.
How long did it take to record? So I was the motion capture actor for Chloe before I knew I was going to be the voice actor for Chloe. And before we started recording voice, we had already been recording mocap for like 7 months to a year. Mocap took longer because it was recording like 3 times a week, 3 times a week, 5 to 10 hours a day for about 1.5 to 2 years. And then the VO was really compact because you're getting different amounts of data, right? And so the VO took about maybe cumulatively a month if I were working every day or 5 hours a day. But those were all spaced out. I would get flown out to LA for a week at a time, and then go back, and then another week.
Dang, that's crazy. Yeah.
It was. How did I find it? I love sharing this because I think that this is really important to note for actors generally, because there's a lot of there are a lot of ideas surrounding, you need to get an agent, you need to pay for all of these subscription services, you need to do this, you need to do that. But sometimes the work just kind of happens, and you, by sheer luck, find the fucking thing on Facebook, which is what happened to me. And I did have an agent at the time, and I had all the headshots, and yada, 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 yada. But the way that the opportunity came into place was just that I was on Facebook at the right time and making sure I was diligent about looking at casting calls.
Yeah. I mean, that was the same thing with me, except it was, you know, it was one of the casting sites, but it was me self-submitting. Yeah, it's the same exact thing. So it's definitely crazy, because a lot of people think that, like, yeah, our agents got it for us, or it was this huge, legit, and it's like, no, I was on Facebook. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I was like posting cat pictures and then went over to a casting site, and there you go. Like, that's
And then
crazy.
worlds change, man.
Yeah.
It's wild.
And so could you talk a little bit about, so they hired you, so you found on Facebook the mocap, correct? That was what you got hired for first. So then how was the transition, and how did that happen with them saying, okay, we actually want you to voice Chloe?
I had to re-audition, and then I was submitted, I believe, blindly, so under a false name, and I was picked out of a lineup to voice her. So I submitted for Chloe just like everybody else, and it just so happened that they picked the same bitch who was her walk. So like,
can you tell us what your alias name was?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. That's so interesting that they did that, because they didn't want to be biased, because obviously they've probably, you know, had created relationship with you and they like working with you and that stuff, but they didn't want to be biased. That's so interesting. And this kind of goes into the next question. And I think a lot of people are very interested about this because of just because of the fact that Chloe has two different voice actors for the game series. So how did you feel stepping into the role of an established character like Chloe Price? And that was from Puckhead 1994.
Honestly, so can I get a little long-winded about this?
Hell yeah, you can. Hell yeah, you can.
It wasn't as difficult as you might think, and hear me out. Here's why. Because when I originally auditioned for Chloe's mocap, it was under different names and what have you. So I had no idea I was auditioning for Chloe Price, because I wasn't under NDA or anything like that yet. They just gave me sides and with different names on them. All of the names were changed, and they were like, pick one. And it was a scene between what would become Chloe and Rachel, and they said, just pick whichever character speaks to you. And Chloe's character immediately spoke to me.
I just got chills.
And so, thank you. I mean, I don't know how to say thank you for your chill. Excuse me. But like the Chloe's character, the way that she uses words, the way that she was communicating with Rachel, the dorkiness, the vulnerability, the attempting to be cool, all of it really, really already spoke to me before I even knew that I was taking on a pre-existing character. And so once I was cast in that role for motion capture specifically, I was like incredibly surprised and also in awe, etc. And once I went through all of those emotions, I just started doing the research. I played Life is Strange. And then I figured out, since there's something really special about this, because I'm taking a character that already existed and making her younger instead of, usually I think a lot of actors tackle it the other way around. Like they make the older version of whatever the character originally was. So they add on. For me, I had to distill her down into what I thought she was at her core, decide what was going to die by the end of the game so she could become the Chloe that we all already knew, and add on what I felt was necessary for her to make it through that storyline and grow. So it was, in short, it was an entire mindfuck, but like,
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
But you did your research. You knew what you were doing. Like I think they picked the right person for it. Not only because you did your research on it, you made sure you were giving the character justice, but you also did a phenomenal freaking job. And a lot of people said that in all these questions and stuff, you know. And it's honestly crazy too, just how it's so hard to see the difference and hear the difference in the voice. It really is. It truly is. And I think that they did a phenomenal job casting you and hearing that out. And then you just did a phenomenal job, you know, latching onto that and making sure that you brought the character justice in all forms. And so, I mean, that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing to step into. And yeah. So I think you basically talked about the next question pretty much. I guess, can you talk about any challenges or struggles you ran into with the process of jumping into this character?
Doing everything with my left hand. That's a fucking shallow answer.
Wait, what do you mean? Explain this to me. Because she's left-handed, or?
Oh man, this was such a thing. It was, okay, so we had already done the motion capture for episode 1. Like all of it. It was locked in, including all of the loops and like every time you see her walk, every time you see her draw, every time you see her interact with the space, and it wasn't a unique moment, so to speak, that was all stuff that would be reused because, you know, to create a new animation costs a lot of money.
Yes.
And since all of that shit was already locked down, we were already moving on to episode 2. But by that point, the game had been, I believe around that point, the game had been announced. And people had started making note of, I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was the first 10 minutes of a playthrough that was announced at E3. That's what happened. And people noticed that she, like me, was right-handed.
But in the original game, she's left-handed in the original?
Because someone had gone through to figure out canonically whether or not she is left or right-handed, and it was
someone, meaning like a fan or somebody.
A fan.
Don't you love them? You guys are great. You guys make it. You guys keeping everybody on their shit. Yeah, on Tumblr. Who are you?
They had gone through and counted the amount of times that the original Chloe motion capture had used their left or right hands, and the deciding factor was the way that Chloe held a gun. And it was just...
Who is this person? If anybody in the stream knows, let us know.
Because of that, we at Deck 9 got wind of it, and we were like, fuck. Because obviously, Deck 9 prioritizes and loves this fan base and just wants to make everybody happy. And so, by no means was anyone trying to be like, hey, you know your left-handed character, she's not the same,
yeah.
You know? So after that, you'll notice between episodes 1 and then 2 and 3, I use my left hand way more.
Interesting.
So,
interesting. Huh.
I know that's a super shallow answer, but like that challenge of because I'm not used to I'm not dominant.
No, that's not a shallow. I mean, that's something you have to that was a struggle you had to deal with. Okay, let's go on here. Well, speaking of challenges, and it's always difficult, for me at least, when I get asked these kind of questions, because I'm like, okay, I have to remember back to 3 years, almost 5 years actually sometimes, right? Because when you started working on this. But Arcadia Bay Love asks, what was the most challenging scene? And I think you've been asked this before, but if you could dive into that.
First step higher, Katy Bay Love, and second, this is, maybe I'm thinking about this too much. Challenging as in, I had to dig the deepest for this scene, or challenging as in, logistically, I just got really frustrated while I was
you know what? Let's hear the, logistically, you got really frustrated. I want to hear that one.
The Mikey and Drew scene.
Okay.
Behind the door.
Okay.
Because I feel, especially in moments of terror and indecision, that scene on its own where you're trying to convince Mikey to stay inside the room it was difficult as an actor to already conquer, because you're playing with the idea of this person outside the door can't hear me, but I have to keep the tension inside of my voice. I have to convince you that it's in your best interest to stay in this room, even though you do not know me as well as obviously your brother. And so that was already really difficult, because in my mind, I had already solidified Mikey. I was already trying to talk to Mikey the same way that I would speak to my own brother.
Yeah, interesting.
And so that one was already hard. But in motion capture, it took me so many tries to get the hang of the physicality of trying to block somebody without trying to intimidate them, without trying to discipline them, and also to keep it alive. Because when you're doing mocap, in real life, we take stillness to be the truth. If I just stopped moving and I stayed here like this, you would understand that I'm doing this on purpose. But in mocap, this would translate to, this is a bug and your game is stalled out. So in mocap, it's a lot about keeping the movement alive while I'm talking. And so in game, you see that the character is breathing and living. When in moments of terror, such as the one with Mikey and Drew, I instinctively kept freezing up and like binding myself up because I wanted Mikey to stay, and the tension was going through my entire body, and I just stopped breathing, essentially, because I just kept not breathing.
Well, cool.
So logistically, that was stupid.
Well, hey, I like that answer. I like that. I like that we went for the logistics side of that. Okay, so Klaysky asks, are there any similarities between yourself and Chloe that helped to connect you to the character or story?
I mean, her use of language is something that's always been really attractive to me. That was the reason that I chose to audition for her character in the first place. I think it comes from... Should I go
Go for
Should
it.
I go too deep into this one?
Go deep. Do it.
I was bullied the shit out of in school. Just freaking torn apart. And I would come home to my mom and I would tell her about all these like really crappy things that kids would say to me. Because, all right, I'll be the first to admit, I was a smartass, I was a tattletale, I had this like really like rigid sense of justice, and just a fancy way of saying tattletale. And obviously, kids don't think that's cool. So I got a lot of flack for it. And I would come to my mom and I'd tell her all of these things that these kids would say about me. And my mom was a lover of words. And she would, my mom's alive. My mom would then say, okay, well, we don't condone hitting or anything like that in this family. So if these kids are going to be mean, you're just going to have to be meaner. Which is like, and I know that's like a really truncated, simplified version of what she really meant, which is just, if they're going to be mean to you, you have to be able to protect yourself using your words. And so after school every day, I would come to my mom and I would tell her all the mean things that they said, and she would give me a bank of comebacks to start using. And eventually we worked up to the point where, I mean, my family already teased each other constantly, but my mom would tease me on purpose at home to get me to get faster.
Wow.
And be able to defend myself more quickly, and sometimes add humor, add a little bit more sass. What do you want out of the situation?
Wow.
What do you notice about the person? What's the way that they're behaving that you feel is subpar if we're pointing out issues, you know? And so by the time I hit middle school, I was just a massive mouth. And because of that, I think I see a lot of love for that part of Chloe, specifically in the back talks, which were some of my favorites to record.
Yeah.
So I just find a lot of home in the way that she uses words, not only to get what she wants, but also to protect herself from the world. I fuck with that. So
we're glad you do, because it reads through that. And I think when you can pull from those certain parts of your life and bring it to a character, it just makes the character that much stronger. And it helps to, she's super relatable. Like, that's why people love Chloe, is because they can relate to her, I think, in the same sense you can. And so you've brought her to life, with your own struggles, with what you've dealt with your voice, and helped people. So I think it's beautiful. And thank you for that story. Your mom sounds like a freaking badass, dude.
She is. She's the classiest motherfucker in the room at all times.
I love it, dude. I love it. She's like, let's train you to be quick on your feet with your words. Let's do this. I love that. Okay, so let's jump down. Okay, this is from Not Your Mom's Nerd. What's it like knowing you made a game that has impacted so many people? And you were in a game that, yeah.
Yeah. Overwhelming. But mostly I'm overwhelmed with gratitude and just this idea of, I feel really privileged because I feel that a lot of times that's what artists want to do. We want to affect the world. We want to affect people, ideas, minds, feelings. And it is just like the hope as an artist, as a performing artist, to be able to leave an impact on just one person. And so for this game to be a vessel for me to, one, do what I love, but two, do it with purpose is just such I just feel grateful.
Do you get a lot of messages about people saying how much you've impacted their life?
Yeah. And I just, sometimes I don't even know how to respond to them because it's just like I said, it's overwhelming. But also, oh, I wasn't ready for this. I wasn't trying to get a little emotional about it. But like, it feels like I sometimes I don't know how to respond because I don't want to let anyone down.
You're not letting anyone down, let me tell you.
I don't want I don't want to, like, yeah, I'm throwing it away. I don't want to respond in a way that would, like, disappoint anybody or, like, tarnish the love that they have for this thing that I got to be a part of. Like, sometimes, I'll tell you what, y'all, if you messaged me and you sent something really heartfelt and I didn't respond, trust it's not personal. I mean, I barely respond to my family and friends, but, like, trust it's not personal. It's honestly, a lot of the time I'll read these messages and I start shaking because it's like,
I mean, I can completely understand. I'm the same way. Like, I get messages too, and I don't respond to all of them too, because again, like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do, but they're just amazing. I screenshot them and I put them in like a little section of my phone because they're special to me. So yeah, it's just, it's crazy. It's crazy. Not only like is the game just such an impactful game, but like Chloe Price, man, a lot of people love her. A lot of people love her. Cool. Okay. Let's move on to some other things aside from Life is Strange, and if we go back into Life is Strange, that's okay too. But so I freaking it's so funny too because I'll message you sometimes about how much I love your Instagram stories, but I love your Instagram stories. They're off the wall and just hilarious, and I'm like, what's going on? And I love them, and it's beautiful. I love it. So I've been seeing you working a lot in the theater aspect of the side of things. So what are you doing right now? What's going on in the theater side of stuff? You're wearing lots of outfits and being lots of literally.
That's just, I mean, if you're a theater actor, that's just the move. You have to have a whole, my whole car is just costumes. It's I live out of that fucking thing. Right now, currently, for in-person shows, so to speak, I'm a part of this Harry Potter themed pop-up bar.
Ooh, what?
Sick, right?
Wait, yeah, what?
It's amazing, and it's so much fun. I've participated as an audience member for their dress rehearsals while like the friends in my ensemble were practicing. And the whole idea around it is that we have a potion master and 2 minions, so there are 3 performers in total for every show, and we have an ensemble that switches out. Everyone plays all characters.
Cool.
And we essentially present this show that's based in this beautifully decorated dungeon, so to speak. It's a room.
Yeah.
And there are tables everywhere. And we walk everyone through doing these riddles and puzzles and they're all staying seated, so it's essentially like an interactive restaurant experience.
Cool, yeah.
But instead of food, you make your own potions. They're cocktails. In like
you're telling us all the secrets. They're cocktails.
They do nothing else. But it's you mix them in cauldrons and you measure it out of like recipe books. And so for the past 2 days, I've been the potion master, which is like essentially the person running the show at the time. You interact the most with the audience members, and you give them you do trivia. It's a lot of fun, and it's the closest I've gotten to doing in-person live theater in about a year.
I was gonna ask, so this is currently what you're doing, so how does it work, during COVID? How does it work? How does everybody manage? And is it like a certain amount of people that are allowed during each show? Do they have to get yeah.
Well, it's so since this is essentially like a restaurant adjacent experience, it has all of the facets of what you would normally experience in a restaurant setting. So if you're not at your table, mask on. We do temperature checks. Nice. As one of the 3 people that sanitize the entire fucking space between shows. Like,
wait, you have to sanitize it? You guys have to?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you guys are the performers and you guys are the crew. Like, you guys are just like doing everything.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, and if you're Minion 1, Minion 2, you're interactive bar backs. So we'll also bust tables while we're talking to people, and we'll interact with the potion master, and then we run back and we do dishes. It's really intense work. But on the more classical theater side, I'm also in the whiskey tasting with DCPA Off Center and the Catamounts, and I do an entire whiskey tasting through Zoom.
What?
So, yeah, it's immersive theater through Zoom, which is also really cool.
I love it. You'll figure it out. They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out. Well, I mean, when it all first started happening, I saw it in the very beginning. People started doing Zoom or like Facebook Live things where you had to send a link, and if it was a paid performance, you had to like pay to get the link, and so it's worked out. But that's good that you're able to do at least some theater in person and manage to keep it safe and figure out how to do that. I think that's cool. Man, that's awesome. I love that. You're potion master. That's so cool. A Harry Potter pop-up bar. What the heck? Oh, man, I'm down for it, dude. Okay, let's see. Where are we at right now? Okay, so who are your favorite characters you've played in any medium? This is from Puckhead again. So it can be anything. Anything you've done where you're like, man, I love that character.
It's funny that their name's Puckhead, because Puck is one of them from A Midsummer Night's Dream.
There you go.
Yeah. Macduff in Macbeth. Chloe. Obviously Chloe. I really love this character that I just played in the film that I'm producing, named Natalie. I really love her.
Is this a film that you're currently producing? You guys are currently like filming it and stuff?
Yeah, it's called Say Something Funny. It was written, is directed, and is co-produced with me by Philip Bach, who directed us on Life is Strange Before the Storm. And also directed Life is Strange. There's 2.
What? Dang. Yeah. I love me some Philip. I think he's great. Right? I love him. He's wonderful. That's awesome. Cool. Mm-hmm. So you guys are currently in the production of that then?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a garbage man.
Hi, garbage man.
It's just so much fun. I love the garbage men. But that's awesome. That's cool. Can you tell us more about that at all? When you think that's slated to release, or plans for it or anything?
We're still in production. But Say Something Funny is the name of the film, and it's about a female comedian who travels to. I don't know what to say. I just wanted to truncate what I was saying, so I was going to use gestures. But like,
good.
She goes to LA to try and make it as a professional comic, and that's it.
Cool. Well, I'm excited to
yeah.
learn more about that, to see more things about that. And for those of you who are watching the stream or looking at this on YouTube, you guys can check out Rihanna's Twitter, Instagram. Garbage Man, we were trying to have an interview, and it's not, I don't appreciate it. Do you hear this? Do you hear this? It's so rude. It happens all the time. Like when I'm trying to have professional.
He's interrupting you even.
Yeah, I know.
It's like clipping.
Calm down. But yeah, if you guys want to pay attention to what she's got going on, new projects coming out, you guys can go follow her Instagram, her Twitter. I'll put the description in the YouTube channel or the YouTube video as well underneath. But yeah, you guys can check it out there with that link. Thank you so much, Val. I appreciate that. Okay, cool. That's awesome. So, okay, so I like this one. I know you've probably gotten this a lot, but I think it's a good question. I think it's always, it's always good because you don't know who else is coming through here who might be an aspiring voice actor. So I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but Ghislaine asks, any advice for aspiring voice actors? Our favorite question.
I'm gonna be tacky cheesy, and I'm gonna use a quote that I read like months ago, but it's still stuck with me. And it's that if you are persistent, you'll get it. If you are consistent, you'll keep it. So do not doubt the worth of work. You have to fucking work for it. Like that, you have to. There's no like quick, fun, easy way around eventually working from home in your pajamas in a booth in a closet. Like there's that's the goal. You have to really, really work for it. And I know I said earlier that like I got Chloe off of Facebook, but I got Chloe's audition off of Facebook. It's about being prepared for whatever opportunities might happen. So that means take acting classes. Voice actors are not just people that do funny voices and can do like impersonations of Kermit the Frog, or I'm being cleaned by my cat.
I know, I love it.
You stinky.
Aww.
You threw me off my brain. Oh yeah, voice actors first and foremost are actors. So don't doubt the importance of going to class. Mm-hmm. Just go to class. And honestly, one of my top bits of advice to you is go to an acting class or a voice acting class. Either works. Not just for and now he bite me. Now he bites.
Now he bites me.
And then he's licking. I just don't know what he wants. Never doubt the importance of going to a class, because not only are you going to learn something from it, but you're also probably going to meet people. This entire industry is based off of relationships. And it's not about who you know. It's about who likes you. So, like, regardless of whether or not you know that person or they know you, you have to form a connection with them for that to be worth anything. And those connections are very easily formed through taking classes, because you're all starting from the same playing field. Y'all suck. Everyone sucks always. And it's awesome. It's awesome. There's no purer form of camaraderie than going, I accept my suck. And I'm going to try to be better, you know?
Yes, yeah.
My cat's my parrot now.
I love it. Your cat's literally perching on your shoulder. This is amazing. This cat loves you.
I love him.
He's your spirit animal.
We have a very special connection.
Aww.
That's the way I feel. He's like my Patronus.
Yes, I'm serious. Yeah. That's so funny. He's so cute. Oh, I love cats. Well, cool. I think that was great advice. Okay, I love this question. I don't know if this was personal or like acting related, so I threw it in here. But it's funny because you actually like mentioned this to me pretty recently, and I was like, yes, do it. But Shadow Ansem asks, hey, Rihanna, would you ever be interested in streaming on Twitch in the near future?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
My old ass has always loved YouTube and stuff like that, and been really... I've always wanted to be a YouTuber, but I never bothered with it because it's just so I was too afraid of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Instagram and Snapchat seemed like a great middle ground for talking directly to a camera, but having very, very low stakes.
Mm-hmm.
But Twitch seems like an amazing platform because if anything I found through this Wizard's Den thing is just that I really love having the interaction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so interested with the whole vlogging experience,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. But the way that you get to talk to so many people every day, Katie, I want it so bad.
And I told
so
you,
jealous.
and guys, yell it out in chat because it's true. People would frickin' love to see you on Twitch. Do you know I get asked like probably once a month. They're like, "You know if Rihanna and Kylie are gonna start streaming on Twitch?" And I'm like, I don't know that, guys. Sorry, I don't. You know, but they want to see you guys. They love it. They would literally fall over and like repeatedly smack their face on their cement out of excitement because of you streaming
don't
on
do
Twitch.
that.
Yeah, but I'm serious though. And she says, well, like, what can I do? Like, can I just sit there? Can I cook? And I said, yes, you can do all of the above. They would watch you cook. They would watch you make things on stream. They would watch you just chat, like how you're doing with me, but chatting to a screen. And they would love to see your cat, you know? They would, yeah. And I told you in the message, I said, if you ever want help, if you ever need advice, let me know. I'm here. Hashtag
right,
get Rihanna on Twitch. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Yeah, people.
I'll hit you up.
Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah, I mean, you really, truly, you just need, you could stream from your phone. You don't even need a fancy, anything. I don't know what are you on right now, a Mac?
No.
You're on a PC?
I'm on an HP.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm PC.
There's a chance you might be able to stream from your PC. There's a chance. I don't know. Yeah, I would say your cell phone. You can stream from your cell phone. You could just set it up and just chat. That's how I started, streaming from my cell phone. Yeah, I still do cooking streams from my cell phone, actually. I haven't done a cooking stream in a while, but yeah. The possibilities are endless.
Okay, as long as y'all are down to accept the suck with me, because I'm gonna suck.
They would love to see it. I think they would love it. Yeah. Yeah, everybody is saying that they would love it. They would love it. Yeah, they want that. They want it. They want it. Yeah, we got your question. That was a great question, Andrew. Thank you for that. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the personal ones. And yeah, okay, so Macra Mercy asks, what was your life like before Life is Strange Before the Storm? How has your life changed?
Well, now I definitely have a lot more people to talk to, like DMs. Before Life is Strange, I was posting like pictures of bagels and stuff. Like I was just like, I'm gonna earn my little theater degree and I'm gonna go over here in the little theater and I'm going to hang out in the dark until anyone wants me.
Yeah, you got cast. You started working on the game during school.
Yeah, I was a sophomore in college. I was 19 when I got cast as Chloe.
That's crazy.
And so, by the end of it, Deck 9 was choosing my, not choosing. I was giving them all of my options, but they ultimately chose my class schedules because we were working together to make sure that mocap could happen. So I would go to mocap in the morning and then go to marketing class at 3 p.m.
They're like,
I would be doing
this morning, and then I'll just wear a mocap suit and use my left hand a lot, so it's fine.
The amount of times that I went to class with like smudges on my face. Because I had to run, so I was like, in my little Honda Civic going, there would just be like, all over right here.
Oh, it's hilarious.
I remember hanging around in California when you were recording in the booth, and I would just be doing my finance homework while you were fucking playing it.
I noticed that because I think I met you like twice. I think once you were sitting out, the first time I met you, you were sitting out like on the tables, like outside of like the booth thing, and I was like, hey, who are you? Because I didn't know who the fuck you were. It's like, hey, you're like, oh, hey. my name's Rihanna. I was like, oh, who are you voicing? You're like, oh, I'm voicing Chloe. I didn't know who the fuck Chloe was, because I had just got cast. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I was like, oh, cool, that's awesome, you know? Yeah, you're just doing your homework. I was like, oh, like, do you live here? And you're like, no. I was like, where are you from? You're like, oh, I'm in Colorado. I was like, oh, and like, the whole thing was just like, oh. And then the second time that I met you, that was when you were, like, in the booth, and Webb was there, the director. And you were doing more homework. But yeah, it was cool. It was awesome. Yeah, I think you were the only person that I saw actually in passing who, like, yeah, because I never got to see anybody, other actors in passing. I never got to work with anyone. Yeah, because it's all, yeah. I mean, well, it's like I didn't have any scenes with anybody, you know what I mean? So it makes sense. But yeah, you were the only person I saw in passing. Thank God, too. I was so happy. I
totally remember that interaction, because I also remember being kind of like, I don't know if they're recording other things in this booth. I don't know if I'm breaking NDA by saying anything. I'm just like, I was doing my grab.
I'm over here just being like, hey, I don't know what's going on, because I was just like, in my mind, I was like, I just got cast for a video game. That's pretty cool, but I didn't know anything about it, because the same thing, it's like all under different names. At that point, you obviously knew much more about it because you were doing the voice now, but I had no clue, you know, I had no idea what the heck I was doing. I was like, cool, Chloe, you know, and I hadn't played the game before. Like Haley, you know, Haley knew. She had like because she had played Life is Strange in the past, so she would be reading the sides, and she'd be like, oh, Chloe Price. She's like, I know exactly what this is. So, like,
they left Chloe Price's name in the sides?
Like, but not, like, when she went to record.
Oh, I thought you meant, like, in the audition sides. No, let's keep it covert. And
no, when she went in to do the actual recordings. Like, because because she has that little interaction, you know, where she's sitting by the tree with Chloe. And, yeah, I think that's when I think I remember her saying, yeah, that's when I realized, like, what I was in. But with me, I had no idea. I remember, I think it was a month before the game released, and I got another contract with a different name on it that I hadn't seen before, which was Deck 9. And I was like, I'm going to do research. And so I did research. I was like, what is this? And then I saw a video game company, like, in Colorado. And then on their Wikipedia down below, it said Life is Strange Before the Storm, 2017. I was like, I think this is what I'm in. I don't know. Yeah.
So you weren't even told concretely what you were in?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. God. Yeah. Yeah.
I know the same thing happened with Kylie too, because she stopped me one day, and it was after a whole day of recording in the booth together, because we had to find the chemistry and what have you. So we were rehearsing all of that, and so we were out in the green room, and she turns to me and she's like, what are we doing?
I love Kylie so much.
It's like, bro, what? We just had a really deep scene together, and you had no idea, like, who I was to you the entire time? And she was like, I was afraid to ask.
So wait, you guys had just recorded, like, actually, or was this a practice? Like, was this rehearsal? Oh, okay. I was like, man, yeah. she really nailed that, not knowing what was going on. Yeah, yeah. They're very, you know, like, yeah, they're very careful, you know, who they're saying things to and whatnot. And when you have a lot of these, you know, NPC characters coming in with different voice actors, it's like, yeah, they got to be careful. So I get it, but yeah, it's just crazy. It's funny thinking back now and just being like, I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I had no idea. Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Ocean Breeze Peace asks, what is your favorite music, artist, band, whatever, that you listen to?
What a sick, there are so many sick usernames.
I know, right?
I cannot come up with a good username for my
Password 123 was really good, Rihanna. That was like that was it right there.
That took me 10 minutes. Well, I was about to say while I was sitting on the toilet. I wasn't sitting on the toilet for 10 minutes, but I had to go to the bathroom while I was in the process, and I was just like staring at a shower curtain, and that's the best I could do. But like, you didn't need to know all that.
You know what?
What is my favorite music? Fleetwood Mac.
Yes.
I feel like is.
Yes.
I love that Fleetwood Mac is not making a comeback. They never left, damn it. But like,
yeah.
becoming more and more popular and resurfacing in this next generation, because I'm named after a Fleetwood Mac song, and I used to tell people that, and they wouldn't
They
know. Have no idea what the fuck I was saying.
It's because of TikTok. It's because the Ocean Breeze guy on his skateboard.
Right.
Everybody knows now. They're like, yeah, what the heck? And you know what's great about Fleetwood Mac too is that you listen, like if you just go onto like Spotify and just go onto a playlist of Fleetwood Mac, you're like, oh my gosh, they did that song? Wait, they did this song? Yeah. What? They have so many hits, like endless, and it's all good. Yeah. What's your favorite Fleetwood Mac song? Vibe. I know there's probably a lot, but is it the one you were named after?
I don't want to say it's the one I'm named after because that would make me
no, it just means that it just means that it's special to you. That's all.
It for sure speaks to me. That song does speak to me. But I do love Gypsy.
Yeah.
And Tusk.
I don't know if I've
heard the beats in Tusk.
I don't know if I've heard that
They scream Tusk in it, so like, you know.
My favorite one is I don't know the name of it, but it goes, I don't wanna know the reason why I love is why don't walking on down the line. That's my favorite. I remember that song because back in the day, I was with a bunch of people and we were playing this like card game where you have to like go around a table and like do, I don't know, it was kind of like where you like do something and then somebody else has to do something and then do the same thing, and it just keeps going until somebody messes up, where they just like keep adding on. And that song was playing in the background and we're all like drunk and it was just like da, 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 and then people would be like, okay, I'm doing this one, and then I'm doing, it was just nuts. So I love that song. Yeah. Fleetwood Mac feels good, man. Yeah, it's called I Don't Want to Know. Thank you, Val. I appreciate it. I guess it's called I Don't Want to Know. But that's good. I love that. Any other bands or artists?
Totally. I've been on a big AJR kick recently.
Yes.
They're just so happy.
Yes.
I also really, really love the new single from I Don't Know How, But They Found Me. It's called Leave Me Alone.
I don't think I've heard that.
It's like alt rock.
Okay, I like alt rock. That's good.
It's Charlie Puth.
Yeah.
I love his voice. Sam Smith. I love their voice. Adele. Adele. I love Adele. And Florence and the Machine.
Yes.
When women can do that, I'm like,
you're here for it. Rihanna makes herself on a roller coaster. She's on a roller coaster now. I love
Adele.
it. That's awesome. Cool. Good. There you guys go. That was a great question. Cool. I love this question. So D Sloat asks, what are Rihanna's pronouns?
Oh yeah, I go by they, them, theirs, preferably. Okay. But I'm fine with she or he. I don't get he a lot, which is. But
you're like, I want more heat.
Yeah, I do. Let's make it up, make it juicy. But like, I'll respond to she. She doesn't offend me. Mm-hmm. I just, whenever someone uses they, them, I'm like, you right. Mm-hmm. That's about it.
That's to know. The one. Good to know. Well, mm-hmm. I am glad too, because when I saw this question come in, because I have seen this person who asked, they said, I saw in an old interview that they use they, she, and I was like, this is great, because I don't think I actually knew, so now I am informed, so thank you, and I will use they, them, there. Boom! Boom! Freaking cool. Yeah!
Booyah.
Okay, let's see. Okay, how was playing Among Us with the rest of the Life is Strange actors for the charity? How did you like that? Everybody literally ate you up, when you just won. Even though you killed right in front of me, but whatever, it's fine. You got me murdered. You got me thrown off the ship. Dude, you were in, because that's when we were doing in the character moment. You were in character. You were Chloe Price, and you were not getting kicked off that ship. You weren't going. You were not going.
There was something like in my reptilian brain that just became entirely time to throw you under the bus.
Yeah.
I went way too hard, but
no, you survived.
I had so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was so great. I remember, and this is partially my laptop's fault because I'm sure my sound quality is sports. But
okay.
I remember the Discord call being so much clearer. Like I could hear everybody. I knew who was talking when. And I watched back those clips, and I'm like, this is fucking chaos.
Yo, I know, it was so chaotic, and I literally was just like, everybody in the stream, they loved it, you know? Everyone in Days in my stream, they were here for the chaos. They loved it. Yeah, we definitely need to do that again. And we raised like $3,000. We raised like $3,000 for Texas, which is amazing. Like, you know, the fact that we can just get together and be chaotic and weird and crazy and raise money, I think that it's amazing. And yeah, thank you guys all if you're watching this and you donated. Thank you guys for that again. I love your cat. Your cat's like, Mom, I'm gonna lay on your laptop.
I haven't given him any attention.
Oh, he wants the attention.
That's not true at all. We spend 30 minutes every morning doing kitty cuddles.
Oh.
So I don't know why he needs this.
Does he sleep with you? Does he sleep with you in bed?
He sure does.
Oh. Where's his favorite place to sleep?
My face. like right across my neck. It's the worst. But
you got a little cat scarf.
And he's heavy too, man.
He looks like a pretty big boy.
But he owns my heart, dude. Like I cannot be apart from him. I need this cat. I love him so much.
All right, so we've got a couple more questions that I got from the Twitter and the Instagram. So we'll get through those, and if you feel like having more questions asked to you from the live ones, we can jump into some of those. Okay, so this is from Ira Knox. How did Rihanna find their semester in England? Are they considering going back to Europe for work/education again?
Hi. This is, I know I'm gonna get so much flack for this answer, and I mean no insult, but I fucking hated that experience.
Oh no. Well, at least people now know.
It's not England's fault, even though, all right, I'm gonna get flack for this. All the food in England tastes like eggs, and I just like, obviously not hashtag not all food, whatever, but like it's so much of the food that is affordable on a traveling student budget, all of it's eggs. It's all eggs, and it's all cold, and it gets dark so early, and I feel like I didn't like that experience so much because of my mindset. So that's not England's fault. And then second off, that mindset was primarily happening because I thought that I could be one of those people that jets off to abroad and just goes to classes and then meets all the locals and hangs out. I need to work. Like my brain needs like hard labor. Otherwise I get really bummed out. And I'm trying to fight a sneeze.
Oh my god, I was like, is she having a seizure? What just happened? I thought you were gonna...
I'm trying not to sneeze. Yeah, I just need to work, and I totally neglected getting a visa because it costs money, and also I thought I could be like a jet setter. Wrong. And so I ended up being in my dark, lonely room, not working, not knowing what to do with myself, getting drunk way too often, and eating food that tasted like eggs. But the theater in London, man, London knows how to do theater. They know how to fund theater. They know how to make theater accessible. They know how to make fucking quality theater happen. And I got to see like 2 shows a week while I was there. And I'll never forget that. Oh, I love that. That was so good. And the artistry there is so good. I did love London. I was just there for too long.
That's so funny. I was there for like maybe like altogether like 24 hours because I flew into London and then we went on like a tour like in a bus, and I flew in. I lost all of my luggage because Air Canada just it, and it was windy, and I got dirt in my eyes, and I was walking around. I was like, I hate it here. And then when I got back, right before we flew out again, I went and I saw Chicago on Weston, and it was horrible. It was so bad. Did you ever see Chicago?
Shit.
Did you ever see Chicago?
No, I've never seen Chicago.
It was so bad. Oh my gosh, garbage people. I swear, like, they've been here for what, like 30 minutes just doing the garbage?
Wait, so this isn't like a new cycle? They're just still hanging out?
I don't know. It should be... Okay, there it goes. Okay. It just, like, it goes in waves. I don't know. I'm like, why? But anyways, I saw it, and it was just, like... It was all of these, English people, British people doing American act. You know, Chicago has, like, Cell Block Tango. It has, like, what?
Yeah, oh yeah.
However many women from all over the United States. So you have all these different accents. And it was just brutal to watch it. Like, it was bad. And, it was just bad. I mean, it was like the equivalent of, like, Americans doing horrible British accents and then the British people being like, this is bad, you know? And then, like, the way it was set up, they had the band take up, like, 80% of the stage. It was so weird. So, like, the actors basically had, like, this little, like, runway area on the sides and then just right in front of the band. But the band was, like, up on some kind of, like, risers going up. It was so weird. It was just such a weird experience, yeah. I was like, I want to go home. I was like, I don't know. But I didn't eat any food in London, so I don't know. I can't let you know if it tasted like eggs for me. But
I'll tell you right now, it tastes like eggs.
Did you ever eat actual eggs when you were in London?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
did you
a lot of the time.
So wait. So, okay, I have to ask. So a lot of the time you actually did eat eggs. So are you sure you just weren't eating eggs the whole time and that's why it all tasted like eggs?
I realize it sounds stupid, but
what did you
even
eat
when I wasn't eating eggs.
But what did you eat?
Wasn't.
What did you eat and you're like, this tastes like eggs too? What was it?
Oh, like all their whole frozen section. Like you'd eat pizza, eggs. And
Maybe
also, they would just put eggs on fucking everything as well. So yes, of course everything tastes like eggs because there's eggs in it. Yes, all right. But they had like sandwiches with like bacon and egg. It was like a bacon egg sandwich on that white bread that does this.
Yeah.
So when you it's too soft and it sticks to the top of your mouth.
Yes. Oh my god.
I understand. All right, everything tastes like eggs because everything's made of eggs there. It just feels like there's like just too many eggs.
I love it, dude. Oh my god. Okay, cool. So, does not want to go back to England. Okay, great. Makes note.
I do, just not in the same way. If I would go back, which I totally would, it would be on a damn visa where I could work.
Yeah.
It would probably be around the same part of town because I went to the University of London Goldsmiths, and that was a great part of town. I really loved it there. It was it was just like the vibe there it's not metropolitan at all, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, how dare I forget! I also really enjoyed. This was one thing. This was a weekly ritual. My friends and I would go to this massive gay club in the center of London. I'm trying to remember what it was called. But they Wednesday, every Wednesday or Thursday they would do Gay Porn Idol.
What?
They would pull 10 volunteers from the audience to come up and strip entirely fucking naked in front of this whole group of people. But at some point, like bodies are as sexual as you make them. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Wait.
So it stopped being like creepy or whatever, and like people would keep their phones down. Nobody would record each other getting butt fucking naked, whatever. Yeah. And it was all led by like the drag queen of the week. And then after they would strip all completely naked, the drag queens on the panel, there were 3 of them, they would just take the piss out on all of them. And it was all in good nature and good fun because you do this with the hopes of winning like 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And everybody that wins per week, they all come to the championships for like 2,000 pounds or something like that. Yeah. Oh, but it's it stops being sexual and it starts being spiritual really quickly, at least for my drunk ass. Because I was like, look at all of our writhing, sweaty bodies.
Yeah. So somebody in chat says it's GAY, gay. That's the name of the club.
Yeah. Cool. But I feel like it was called something a little bit less on the nose. But
somebody else said Heaven Nightclub. I don't know. If it's Heaven, that is. Heaven Nightclub?
Oh, it's Heaven. Yes, that's absolutely what
okay.
it is.
Then it's Heaven. There you see, I knew chat. So, see, there you go. And that's so funny because those are the people who are not from, they're not from England. Those people are not from, Clay's from the South. He's not from England. There you go. That's wonderful. Cool. Yeah. That's a great experience. Love that. Okay. So, we have another question from Arcadia Bay Live again. If you had a fandom, what would the name of the fandom be? For example, Katy has the Cater Tots. What would your fandom name be?
Oh, there's nothing good you can make out of Rihanna. There's nothing good. Cater Tots, it's Cater Tots.
But they could be like your smelly butts or something. You know? I mean, that's on brand.
Smelly butts?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of the time don't the communities pick their own name?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I think for me, I think what we did was people like started throwing out names or something, and then I put like a poll in, and they chose the Cater Tots. I don't even know what the other ones were gonna be. Somebody said Eggheads.
No.
And somebody else said DeVries with a F. DeVries. Yeah.
Katy, did I ever tell you the story about how I've been spelling my own last name wrong? Like for 24 years now.
Wait, this isn't how you spell it?
No.
What?
I have no idea how to spell it. Apparently, it was my family and we were sitting in a Red Robin one day, and I don't know how it came up, but my brother said, "Yeah, you've been spelling our name wrong. Just wanted to let you know." And apparently, for my brother, he spells it with a space between the E and the V. Mm-hmm. And then my dad spells it with a lowercase d, capital V. But I never knew that because he writes in all caps like a military man.
Funny.
Yeah, and my mom also never knew that, so she's been spelling it with a capital D in the same way that I spell it.
So it's the right letters, there's just a lowercase d and a space.
Yeah, I have no idea what it's supposed to be.
You know what, at this point, I love how, your mom didn't even know. So your mom married your dad, was like, great, this is my new last name, only had seen him write it in like military caps, and was like, awesome, can't wait.
My dad doesn't write in lowercase ever, so none of us could have ever known that.
Neither does my dad either. He was also in the military too. It's maybe it's a military thing, or maybe it's like an engineer thing. I don't know, or it could be a dad thing. Who knows? Well, there you go. Cool.
The DeVries is cute.
Yeah.
I like that because if you literally translate my name, Rihanna means queen, and DeVries, queen or witch.
Oh.
Yeah, surprise. And DeVries means of Fries, which is referring to a place in the Netherlands. Huh. Spelled Fries.
Oh.
But if you just read it off of a piece of paper, it looks like my name says Queen of Fries.
Yes, that's what somebody in chat just said. Queen of Fries? I love that. I love it. Queen Witch, same thing. Okay, one last question that we've got on this Google Doc here, from the same person. If you were an actor, what other job / career could you see yourself in?
I used to think I'd be a lawyer.
Ooh, but I mean, those backtalk challenges, I mean, they could work.
I've been arguing. My mom always likes to talk about how I negotiated my punishments when I was like 4. Mm-hmm. She would tell me, all right, you have to go in the corner for 10 minutes. I'd say, I don't feel like what I did was deserving of 10 minutes. Let's make it 5.
Right.
So she always thought I was going to be a lawyer. But I don't know, that just seems like such sad work, to be honest. So maybe owning a bake shop.
Ooh, I like that.
I'd probably be a baker. I'd probably bake a lot.
I like that. That works. A baker. Have you, you should post more of your bagels on Instagram again. I think you should, go, you know, pre-BTS and post more bagels.
The one bagel post I was referring to is all the way at the bottom, if I haven't deleted it yet, and it's just a bagel in the snow. That someone left behind.
Oh, I thought you I thought you set it up. You're like, you know where this bagel needs to be. No, but somebody left the bagel. I like that.
No, it was completely candid. That's what makes it really art. It's truly artistic. Just found a bagel.
Okay.
On the ground.
So we have some questions that people have asked throughout this interview. Do you have time? Do you want to?
I absolutely do, but don't hate me. My computer is dying so quickly.
Okay.
I have time. I'd love to answer, but maybe I'll put my cat in front of the camera and I'll get my charger really quickly.
We love that. We love that.
Okay. 2 seconds. Now.
Oh my gosh. Guys, thank you again so much for hanging out with us. And there's a cat. Hi, kitty cat! Ma'am? Okay, I'm just gonna follow you, bye. Okay. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. We have a couple of questions that you guys have asked throughout that the mods have put on here. So thank you guys for compiling that. Thank you guys for the questions. I don't want to take up too much of Rihanna's time. So I think we'll get through these questions. If there is any lasting ones, ask them now or forever hold your peace. And Val will put that in the Google Doc. Val, thank you so much. Guys, can we get love in the chat, please, for the mods? Thank you guys again so much for being here and helping out. And for everybody just being super respectful and awesome and joining in on the conversation. I like how you put your kitty there and he was like, I want mom, bye.
I should have known. I left the room and he was like, we're leaving.
Okay, so Baconator asks, and I don't know what this is. I've seen you post about it on your Instagram, I think, so I'm excited to hear about this. Baconator asks how the idea of I Put the Bi in Bitter started, and if there are any plans to keep it going.
Oh, that wasn't my idea. It's by a production company called Sad Girl Productions, who are sick, man. Their whole mission is to create a space, by being the space, where they create films, web series, etc. that are women-written, women-driven, women-led, with special priority on also making sure that there's space for BIPOC women in those spaces. Mm-hmm. So it was conceived by, her name's Marion Lepore, who wrote the first season. And then her and Kelly Zinconi, who was the producer, they co-wrote the seasons that followed, I believe, as well as with Dana Elizabeth. But I don't know if they have any plans to keep it going. We actually just did an interview because they got into the Colorado Dragon Film Festival, which is Colorado's only all-Asian film festival that I know of.
Cool.
But they prioritize Asian films, and since both Rima and I are Asian, and it was written by an Asian woman, there's a lot of representation already happening.
That's amazing.
In that space. Mm-hmm. We just did an interview with them, and honestly, this series is just so well loved by everyone involved in it that I wouldn't be surprised if at some point it came back. I really want it to. I really love Alex. I can't believe I didn't say Alex was one of my favorite characters to play, because she was amazing too. But I really loved Alex. I don't know if it's going to come back for sure, though. I just know that Marin and Kelly, their idea behind I Put the Bi in Bitter was just that there's so much media surrounding being gay and growing up, but a lot of it can be like hypersexualized and sensualized, and like people fucking, like the gay people fucking die in it, and it's like you just see people get tortured for being queer.
Mm-hmm.
And how is that supposed to be helpful to a young mind who is queer, you know? And so their whole idea behind I Put the Bi in Bitter was to make it family friendly content, specifically for younger audiences to enjoy and to see themselves represented in queer roles where, like, the girlfriends actually got to have a happy ending,
mm-hmm.
and the best friend is totally confident in being a lesbian. Like,
mm-hmm.
it was mostly the whole series is just about making sure that there is queer television for kids.
Yeah.
Which is sick.
Yeah.
So good. That was a long rant because I love them so much.
No, that's awesome. No, that's a great question, Baconator. Thank you. Because again, I had seen stuff that you've posted on Instagram, so I was excited to hear more about that. So thank you for that. So Zazu80 asks, does Rihanna have a P.O. box or something where she could sign LIS stuff for us, with us paying for shipping and including some chocolates, of course?
I do. I have a P.O. box.
You do have a P.O. box?
Yeah, she died and then I brought her back.
What? Wait, you'll have to, I don't know, do you remember it right now by heart?
No.
Okay, so you'll have to send it to me, and then I'll put it in the link on the YouTube video.
Yeah,
so if anybody
absolutely.
wants to, they can check the description down below in the YouTube video, and then I can also put it in my Discord too. Yeah, look at that. There you go. You're gonna get some chocolates. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Zazu's from Germany, so get some German chocolates.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Robert and police officer. When she's going to play it. What is Smelly Ham's favorite treat?
Taco Bell cheese.
That's not what I was expecting you to say, dude.
All right, this cat, I don't know what's up with his brain. This cat won't really eat treats. He won't even. I tried to make him homemade food. I am the kind of cat owner that's like, I got a food processor. I bought all of the animal organs that are supposed to be good for him.
Yeah.
And I blended it up. I fucking made homemade cat food, and this cat was like, but I want my shitty brown pellets. And so
he's probably just used to that. I'm sure he's just probably got that his whole life, so he's just used to it. But that Taco Bell cheese, though.
There was a moment where my roommate and I, we obviously got Taco Bell, and some cheese got on the floor, and we didn't realize it was there until we look over, and he is just rolling in it.
Oh my god, like actually rolling?
He loves it. It's his favorite.
Maybe there's like catnip in it or something crazy. Maybe that's the key to why people are so obsessed with Taco Bell, because they put like some kind of weird like catnip in it for us, for humans or something. It's a conspiracy. I love that. Okay, so cheese. Okay, Leshy asks, what animal would they be if they could be one?
Can I be a mythical creature?
Yeah.
A dragon.
Okay, wait, why?
Can fly. Can breathe fire.
I would like to be a dragon can fly. Yes, I love it. Okay. So
what would you be, Katie?
What would I be? If I think I would be something that flew. Some kind of like, probably a predatorial, like maybe like a hawk or something. So like not like a little bird that would just like get eaten by a hawk, but like, you know, something that like can't get fucked with. That's probably what I'd be. Because I just want to feel like, I want to see what it feels like to fly, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's part of why I picked dragon, because I don't want anything to eat me.
Yeah, are you sure you don't want to be a pigeon? Sure you don't want to be a pigeon?
See, alright, with pigeons, I love pigeons. I feel like at my core I am a pigeon, but I didn't choose to be a pigeon, you know what I mean?
Dude, I think about that all the time. Whenever I see pigeons, because I see them all the time here, I'm like, that's one of Rihanna's like favorite animals. She's weird. That's what I think about all the time.
Alright, I have a lot of respect for any animal that can be put anywhere and then just go, I got it.
Yeah, that's a
I'll
pigeon.
eat trash. I'll figure it out.
Is that? Oh my god, I love it. Oh yeah, that's a pigeon. Okay, cool. Let's see. If they could have created Chloe as a character, what would they have changed? Would they have changed anything about her, and if so, what? Would you have changed anything about Chloe if you created her?
I would have made her canonically gay.
Yes! None of the secret, like, mystery shit. Just boom. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, what's an epic movie quote you'd love to have said as Chloe? These questions, they're getting there.
The one from Silence of the Lambs.
What?
I ate him with something in a nice Chianti. I would have wanted to.
I mean, it checks out. We're gonna get through these last couple questions we have here. I am picking and choosing, but we're gonna get through these last couple ones, so we won't be taking any more. Thank you again. Thank you everybody again. Let's see. So do you play Life is Strange, the original, right?
Yeah.
Did you save Chloe? Did somebody asks? Shadow asked. I can answer first. I did not. I saved the city. I saved Arcadia. A lot of people give me flack for that. It's not that I don't love Chloe. It's just, that was my choice.
I actually, by that last episode, was cramming, and so I didn't play that one.
You didn't? Okay, so...
No. So I thought you were just asking generally if I touched it. I watched playthroughs.
So, okay, if you were to play it, would you save the town, or would you save Chloe?
Damn, so me answering the way I just did not allow me to escape this question.
There are a ton of people. The ones that save Chloe are louder. Let me just tell you that. So they're much louder in the fandom. And the ones that don't save Chloe don't usually come out and say it right away. But yeah, I think both can be justified and are.
Well, the scene that follows if you choose not to save Chloe is really lovely. But I played the fifth.
Guys, we'll just leave it at that, but I think you guys...
I feel like a jackwad saying, like, hey, this character that I love so much, I take it personally, and so...
Yeah, no, again,
it's a conflict of interest, all right? It's more than a moral question for me.
You're like,
right?
I can't answer it. Yeah. I'm too close to the subject matter. I can't, sorry.
I'll have to excuse myself.
Let's see. Okay, Justin's World asks, when playing as Chloe, how did the Chloe and Rachel relationship reflect on you? How much did you enjoy the relationship?
I love that relationship. I love any young gay relationship, to be honest with you. I'm just like, represent. I actually had a lot of thought processes. I overthought this a lot. Obviously not thinking clearly enough to form a sentence that makes sense. But I remember thinking, well, crap, this whole game is about choices. And if you can choose whether or not Chloe ends up with Rachel, are you choosing whether or not you're gay? Blah, blah, blah. But then I realized, I'm like, it's not that. That's super reductive. In reality, what it really is these people, the way, at least with Chloe, the way that I played her was, regardless, she will have feelings for Rachel, but your choices decide whether or not you totally biff flirting with her. So, that's how that affected me, was me overthinking and then, like, just deciding, like, my version of Chloe is attracted to Rachel. And then just the choices you make decide whether or not you flirt with Rachel enough for Rachel to know that, and then for her to reciprocate.
Interesting. No, I like that. That's good. That's a good insider information. I like that. All right, this will be our last question. This is from Swan the Kraken. This is for your cat. How often does he get zoomies?
Never. He's 16.
Dude, he was walking on the couch back there, and he tried to get up on the top of it, and he kind of, like, slipped a little, and I was like, baby. I was like, oh, no.
The closest I've ever seen to him moving fast was he'll sleep. He sleeps on his back like a big old slit, and he really lays himself out. He's really long,
cute.
but he'll just sleep for most of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But the fastest I see him move is when he wakes himself up and he just goes, and then sprints for the food bowl.
Okay, I'm like, okay, he must want food. Yeah. Well, what about the cheese? Does he get super excited for the cheese, though?
He acts cool until he lays on it, and then it's not cool at all.
I love it. Cool. Okay. Well, this has been awesome. I've loved this. Yeah. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and I hope everybody in the chat has enjoyed it as well. Is there any lasting things you'd like to say? Anything you want to plug? Your socials, anything like the socials are in the chat. You guys can go click on Instagram or Twitter, but if I've missed something, plug it now. Whatever you'd like to say to the peeps.
Thank you. Just thank you. That's all I got. Because, I mean, if the socials are there, I feel like a fucking douche. But, like...
No, you're good. Yeah.
Ultimately, just, like, thank you for everything.
Yeah, cool. And then I will get the P.O. box from you.
Ah, yes.
Yes, and then I will share it amongst the peeps, and then suddenly you'll be rolling in chocolate. It'll be wonderful.
Oh, good.
Yeah. There you go. All right, guys, I'm gonna go to the BRB screen and say goodbye to Rihanna, and then we'll be back. So yeah, guys, hang tight.